To conclude this afternoon's session, we would now like to invite Mr. Syed Ahmad bin Syed Hassan Al-Attas to give an address on interfaith harmony. Mr. Hassan Al-Attas.
In the name of God, the most merciful, the most benevolent. His Eminence, Venerable Master Ching Kung, dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, bonjour and ami tofu. In the First World War, about 17 million people were killed, including 7 million innocent civilians and children. In the Second World War, over 60 million people were killed, including 35 million innocent civilians and children. The Holy Quran clearly states, "Man qatala an-nafsa فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحياها الناس جميعا." If anyone killed a person, it would be as if he has killed all mankind. And if anyone saved a life, it would be as if he has saved the life of all mankind. In 1916, after the war at Gallipoli, Turkey, Anzac Jack from New Zealand, a member of the Allied forces, survived the campaign and was decorated for his service and bravery in World War I. But the trauma of the war was too much for him, and he took his own life when his son was only 4 years old. In his suicide note, he stated, "My brain is going." His son and family still live in New Zealand. 7 decades after the World War II, on Friday, the 1st of May, 2015, about less than a month ago, Germany is still burying its dead. In the military graveyard southeast of Berlin, 123 miniature coffins, remnants of soldiers, some as young as 19 years old, found in forests, fields, building sites in Germany and around Europe were buried. Most lost their lives in April 1945 in one of the last vicious battles of the war. The scars of these world wars remain to haunt many families for decades. These two world wars were not fought in the name of any religion. They were fought for the cause of nationalism, racial superiority, greed, and pride. Today, however, things are different. Religion is claimed to be the main cause of wars. Extremists use religion to champion their cause and achieve their evil desires. Islam is now being attacked in such a manner never seen before in history. Islam is being attacked by the Muslims themselves. These so-called Muslims are extremist in their thinking and behavior. They are a menace in any peace-loving society. They are hated by many. The presence of extremists, although a minority in Muslim societies, give a bad name to Islam. As a result, many good Muslims today are looked upon as potential extremists or terrorists unless proven innocent. In the past, true Muslims were looked upon as trusted friends and as sincere partners. They were looked upon as good, honest, pious, and kind people with great knowledge. In the 8th century, the Abbasid capital in Baghdad was the biggest capital city in the world. Non-Muslims from Rome, Greece, India, and China came to live in Baghdad. Many settled down there and enjoyed peace and harmony. How different things have become now. Many are even afraid to have a Muslim neighbor. Why? There is no doubt that Muslim extremists use Islam to justify both their ends and means. They are fanatical and extremist in both their interpretation of Islam as well as their behavior. Our holy Prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Khairul umur awsatuha." Following the middle path is a virtue. In other words, practice moderation and do not go to extremes. Islam is against extremism in any form. In order to understand Islam, we have to go back to history. We have to study the character of our holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We have to understand the Quran by looking at the examples of the Prophet and the true Muslim leaders of the past. The Prophet, peace be upon him, once even said, "Utbu ilm walau bisin," seek knowledge even to China. Why did he say this? The Prophet must have known about the Chinese people and wanted Muslims to make friends and learn from them. In fact, we find Islam reached China during the time of the Prophet, in the 7th century. In those days, the journey to certain parts of China took more than 4 years. Many Muslims settled in China, learned the language, and even died there. They were welcomed by the Chinese emperors, and some, like Syed, became the governor in Yunnan and was very popular with the people. During the Abbasid Caliphate, a well-known jurist in the court of Baghdad, Ahmad ibn Fadlan, went to Norway and was welcomed by the Vikings. He lived and fought with the Vikings against their enemies and is remembered till today. A Hollywood film entitled The 13th Warrior tells the story of Ahmad ibn Fadlan. The role was played by Antonio Banderas. During the Crusades, when King Richard the Lionheart was ill, Saladin himself came in disguise as a physician to cure him. As a result, many historians describe Saladin as a chivalrous foe. When Saladin reconquered Jerusalem from the Crusaders, he granted the freedom of religion, including for both the Jews and Christians. These are some examples of true Muslim leaders of the past. According to Professor Muhammad Al-Attas, in Islamic education, each lesson must be moral, and all teachers must be concerned with morals. Every tutor must consider religious ethics among anything else. Religious ethics are the ideal, perfect ethics. Noble character is the basis of religious education. Imam Ghazali said that the aim of education must not be to obtain power, money, glory, to act insolently, or to compete with others. Islamic education can be summarized in one word: virtue. Before I end, let me share with you a famous story of the king of Butana, a small town north of the River Nile in Africa. The king, Sheikh Abu Ali, who had 10 sons, was dying. He called all his sons and gave each of them 2 sticks and asked them to break one of the sticks. Everyone broke the sticks easily. Then he took the remaining 10 sticks and tied them firmly together and asked each and every one of his sons to break them. None of his sons could do it, no matter how much they tried. Then he turned to them and said, "Be united, and you are strong." True religion unites the hearts of humanity. Thank you.
Mr. Hassan Al-Attas, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Chers invités, mesdames et messieurs, nous terminons ici la première journée de notre symposium pour le Vesak. Nous vous donnons donc rendez-vous demain matin, dès 8h30, dans cette salle, où nous allons commencer avec une table ronde sur le Sri Lanka et la culture bouddhiste. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the conclusion of the first day of our symposium. We shall reconvene here tomorrow morning at 8:30 with a panel discussion on Sri Lanka and Buddhist culture. Merci beaucoup, bonne soirée, thank you, good evening, go in peace, and see you tomorrow. Merci.